All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got here Mr. at AO Jerry. Jared, walk us through this beautiful machine we have right here.
It's a little bit of a Franken handheld rig, but it works, man. So obviously, just starting from the center, you have the Black Magic small rig cage, 500 SSD here. I literally have just command stripped about a 50-watt battery up top. It's really just like a portable battery that supports AC out. So I have the Black Magic cable there. It powers the Black Magic for about 6 hours, maybe about 4 if I'm really pushing it. And then the other accessories attached to the small rig cage are pretty much just a gimbal side handle for the Ronin S, and the actual Ronin S tripod mount on the bottom. So together it kind of just gives me this little like pistol grip, if you will. And then I have the Nucleus Nano mounted at the top, so I just rack focus with my thumb. It works well. Right now I got the Sigma 18-35. When I'm shooting handheld stuff, I usually use the 35 f2, just because it's image stabilized, but it worked for what we were doing today.
Do you feel like that guy's going to be glued on it for
so far so good, man. Yeah, today we were shooting a model, kind of just some like video portrait stuff, and it worked. I don't feel like the image was too shaky, especially just shooting at 4K 60.
All right, so how do you like the positioning of this guy here with your thumb? Do you ever does it, like, uncomfortable sometimes, or does it work still?
No, I'll be honest with you. So just like the shape of the rig is a little bit uncomfortable. I wish I had maybe a top handle, but
you can have the hot shoe with the monitor if you wanted to.
As comfortable as this is, or I guess I should say the most comfortable positioning for this would be kind of waist level lower, which is why I mentioned I kind of wish I had a monitor, but that would be the only thing really missing from the rig, because, you know, if I'm down here, it works well. It works really well. You're kind of letting gravity do most of the work for you, and then I'm just kind of rotating here. I haven't really had any focus issues for me. It works. And then I like that this is a tripod. So
what's funny, guys, Jared comes from an A7 III. Sheesh. And if you think about it...
We don't talk about that.
The pricing of the two are very similar. If we look at it, I think they both go for almost 2K.
Yeah.
But
I guess this before the price drop, though, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. I think it was like, what, 200 off?
I got it on sale for sure.
Oh, so you're still good.
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't
well, like,
bad.
Okay, really quick. Why did you switch?
I saw a lot of footage from the 4K, and it was just incredible. I was blown away. I got the Sony A7 III because my other camera literally broke, and the 4K wasn't even out yet. So I got the 7 III, and it was cool. Was rocking with it, and then they announced the 6K version, and that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna just make the jump. After only a year ownership with the Sony A7 III, I just kind of made the jump. But
you think EF mount was the right move for them? Or you have a different thoughts on it?
I would say, for me, that's what actually made me jump ship, because
there's so many options.
Yeah, Micro Four Thirds is super dope because of the vintage adaptation options that you have.
Speed boosters too, huh?
Speed boosters, obviously, like, they help with f-stop and stuff like that, but for me, I already had an EF lineup that was just collecting dust because I made the switch to Sony. So knowing that I already had some lenses in my arsenal, all I really needed to do was get the camera and then rig it up to a certain degree. And we're still on the path of that, but for now this works, man. I don't really have any complaints. I don't feel like the rig is holding me back from creating. So
what's funny about this, guys, and I had this conversation with Jared a lot, when it comes to these cameras, everyone was on the hype train for the A7 III when it came out, but for me, what Jared taught me was bit rate, not bit rate, 10-bit versus 8-bit. And after seeing his footage, it's a huge difference, because it would be like that rubber band analogy, right, where it's like you can stretch it more.
I always like the analogy of having the basic, the 8 box of crayons versus the 12 or 24 box of crayons. That is better, yeah. You just kind of have more information, more colors to pull from. There was, mostly with drone stuff, but there was a lot of just situations where my footage would just fall apart after a heavy grade.
Being aggressive with it, yeah.
Yeah, not that I'm doing like super aggressive heavy grades, and that was the other thing for me, is like my grades aren't even that intense, you know. Why is the footage falling apart? And obviously it's just that extra flexibility from 8-bit to 10-bit. But yeah, man, I wouldn't go back, honestly. It's definitely...
I'm envious of you, bro.
It's a huge hurdle. I will say this. I had a little bit of not really even buyer's remorse when I first got it, but it was kind of just like, man, did I make the right decision in terms of having the best tool on the job?
I think it really is. I'm jealous of you.
You get used to it. It's great. I would definitely not go back. Everything that like is required for it, it's just in terms of battery, nucleus. It just kind of makes it a better camera in general. So it works, man. I'm happy with it.
It's just an interesting design of what they decided to do with this guy. It's like a football. It really
very
is.
weird shape. I will say that, obviously. Funny enough, Pat, so I had it completely naked. Imagine all of this gone.
Yeah.
Just the camera and the lens. I command stripped the SSD to the top of the lens and just had the pistol grip on the bottom of the camera, and I had it on the lake. Dude, it felt great.
Really?
I got super, super amazing footage, and all of this was literally just nothing. It was just the camera. I felt super lightweight. I felt super flexible. It was powerful. I almost honestly brought that rig today. The only reason why I didn't is because when I use this follow focus, I need this battery because that's what powers the follow focus. So that's kind of why I didn't.
How do you like the follow focus so far? I remember the first one you got originally you didn't like.
No, it was this one. We've talked about it.
Really? Same
I have
one.
my complaints with it, bro, honestly.
Huh.
This battery life on it is short, so I want to say it's only like 2 hours. When it dies, it just kind of bugs out and throws your focus out of focus. I hate this. I really, really hate this right here.
Because the lens is not designed for it.
It's so silly. I hate the little like gear mount that they give you. This follow focus would work great on an actual like cine lens with gears and hard stops.
Because you are considering the later on, and you said the zines.
Zines for
you're
sure.
considering those.
That'd be later on, but for now, man, it gets the job done. Definitely.
Well, correct me. You wouldn't really use that the follow focus for like interview stuff, because.
Well, oddly enough, I did.
Really?
It's super wireless. So what's cool is you could literally just
like
clamp
stagnant
it.
interviews or motion.
Yeah. So I just like left it on the tripod, and I was on a monitor about maybe 10-20 feet away from the
Your little
from the
village.
camera.
Okay.
And exactly, pretty much a little village, and I had this rocking with me so I could rack focus if I needed to. It was primarily just to maintain focus, and if anything weird happened, if they moved or anything like that, I was able to kind of just catch it. But yeah, man, it works for sure.
Yeah, Ayo Jerry's, man. Guys. Yeah, because I feel like the 6K's been making waves.
6K's been making waves. Haven't really shot B-Raw too much. The little bit I have shot with it, it's great. Obviously, your first.
What reason? I feel like what reason would you really shoot that?
I haven't had one yet, man. For sure.
I can't really think of a situation you would need to shoot B-Raw.
Other than wanting raw, 12-bit raw.
Oh God, 12-bit raw, man.
You know what I mean? So it's like I get that side of it, but for me, 10-bit does a job. I will say, gear isn't everything. I feel like I just have to say that when you're looking at this.
Says the guy who has a medium format film camera now.
But that's hard though. That's just like maybe
I know.
obvious too.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Like, there are certain things that when you kind of step into this trade, you also get into the hobby of it, and that's kind of what I've been wanting to talk to you about. Honestly, is like everyone's like, oh, don't get this or don't get that because make sure that your clients will pay for this or that. It's like, well, what about the person who's just into cameras?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't always have to come at it in an aspect of, I need this to make me money, or I need this to build a business or build a bigger business. It's like,
if you like
I'm just into cameras. You know what I mean? So that's also why I bought this, because I wanted to buy a super affordable consumer level cinema camera.
I don't know if I would call that consumer when you rig it out.
When you rig it out, for sure, it definitely gets out of that price tag, but you know what I mean? Obviously,
looks
like
good.
The image quality you're getting out of this versus a red. Like, I'm not gonna buy a red for the hobby of it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I mean when I say.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, dude. Like, can you tell the difference between an edited red versus a BMPC for the consumer?
For the consumer, no. For most clients, no. If you're super into film and video, probably not. And I was even looking at a lot of GH5 stuff before I bought this. I was like, should I just get the GH5? I know that it has autofocus. I know that it has IBIS. So, yeah, man, I just landed on this because I just wanted to try the whole cinema round of things. But
envious you, bro. Envious.
It's yours whenever you need it, dude.
I just know if my computer can handle those files. Because you know me, I'm really...
Don't you have a 16-inch?
I do, but like, I feel
you
like...
You max it out to a certain extent, right?
32, and then I got the next level up graphics card.
Yeah, bro, you can handle
this. I
this.
should B-Raw. I'm probably going to do it just to fuck with my computer.
You could handle this, for sure.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, B-Raw would edit just as good, if not maybe a little bit better than ProRes in Final Cut. B-Raw in DaVinci is optimized the same way that ProRes is optimized in Final Cut, so you should be able to get away with it for
A
sure.
little side note, guys. This guy here introduced me to the world of codecs, because I was always on my thought process in terms of when making a purchase was frame rates and resolution.
Yeah.
1080, 4K, 120 FPS.
Yeah.
But like the type of codec, the bit rate is so important now. So
it mattered for sure.
Yeah.
At least for me, when I'm thinking about like the back end version of my rig in post production, I'm always about efficiency and how quickly I could move. And so ProRes definitely makes a difference. 10-bit definitely makes a difference. Just seeing how quickly Final Cut
a lot of
renders and
options here,
optimizes
too.
those.
That's cool. A lot of options for your chords.
Yeah, I had a mount here. That's where I tried to put the monitor. Rather, I tried to put a monitor there. It didn't work.
A quarter
the
inch,
7-inch. The 7-inch was too big, so
You
it was
turned
like
it right?
falling. So if I had a 5-inch, it technically would work. I could just throw it on the side here, but I don't have one.
So a small HD?
Maybe I might do your fill world just because I like the
Yeah,
functionality of
it's
it.
just
a little bit
gimmicky
cheaper.
sometimes. That whole flip thing automatically threw me off.
Mine would never flip. I would never have that issue.
Oh, because I'm using the gimbal for it.
Yeah, and then LUTs I could put in my camera.
No, that must be
So I know
nice.
you're having an issue with that. But yeah, man, like I said, it works, man. I don't know. I wouldn't go back. Hard to say that once you're holding it, though. You know what I mean?
I know, but
Or I guess easier to say that once you're holding it.
AJ Aries, guys, the man, the myth, the legend.
Sheesh, I don't know if I'm a myth.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. You know what it's meant for. But goddamn. All right, ladies and gents, we will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.